Part 2 of Iftar with Royal Anwar Transcendence, a non-Muslim who is just willing to experience what Muslims experience, because I grew up in a Muslim family, an open Muslim family, and I went to training to school to read how to read the Quran and everything. I've prayed many times the namaz and everything. So before I start my story, in the video before this, I explained some fundamental concepts why I chose to, fast even though I'm not a Muslim. Why I choose to embody a lot of the teachings of Muhammad and Islam and the Quran and everything, even though I'm not a Muslim. Because the fundamental message I'm trying to convey to you is that you don't have to be a Muslim to embody and experience and learn from the teachings of Islam. You don't have to be a Christian to learn from the teachings of Muhammad or Yeshua, Jesus Christ, or Christianity in general, or the Bible. You don't have to be a Buddhist or a monk to learn from the teachings of Buddha or the yogis. You can do it without. You can be a Muslim and learn from Buddhists, from Christians, from their teachings, from different religions. You can be a monk, but be a yogi, but be a Muslim, but be a Christian, a Jew, a Hindu, and all of that at the same time. Or you can be a transcendence and be all of them and none of them at the same time. Just be like this balloon. Think of that as just like the cube, the house of God, Mecca. Just put that as symbolic and say, hey, even though I am this golden balloon goofball, I have no religion, no culture, no race. I have no parents, no father, no mother, no brother. I am singularity itself. I am just a zero container, like this bubble, like a zero drop of water, like a Genesis tier number 0. And the absolute shed probably and everything exists in that 0 tier. At the same time, I embody and express and learn from the different religions here on earth. Not what the many superimposed layers on top of it. I'm talking about their essence, their culture, like the things they do. Like in Islam, they have like Ramadan, they have like the fasting. Well, until you experience it, like for a day, for a few days or so, like fast like Muslims, you're not gonna know what it's like to be a Muslim who is fasting. You're not gonna know how somebody is working in a takeaway for 15, 18, 20 hours without any food and serving you food and the takeaway and everything, and you're just there eating. You're not gonna know how that feels like. You're not gonna know how a truck driver is driving for 15 hours with empty stomach while they're trying to focus and drive and get goods delivered in a safe way without harming some other people. You're not going to know what that feels like until you fast for a day or two. You're not going to know what it's like for somebody to be sitting on the side of the street homeless, and what it's like to be there without no food, without any security, without any shelter, and until you go sit there on the street and actually sit there and forget all that you have and just be a homeless guy. You don't have to beg for money, but just sitting there, people will look at you like you're a homeless guy. Yes, you can be a multi-millionaire and wearing nice suits and shit like that, and sitting next to a homeless guy or sitting where they typically sit in, they're gonna think that you're a fucking broke, a homeless guy. That's people's perception of reality. Again, in the video before this, we talked about like how these different principles behind, from my dimension of existence, like some principles that I have perceived, that I've come to understand that Ramadan is for, because I've fasted many times before, but at the same time I've not fasted for months, for many years, and just like would eat. And again, I'm not doing it because I want to be Muslim or anything. I'm just doing it because it's I prefer it. I choose to do it. It's something that helps my body to go through massive transformation and complete an old cycle or a stage in my evolution, and also welcome and usher in a new day of Brahman, a new stage of evolution, like a new day and all of that, because a new golden day for all of us. It's all about like being the golden era for humanity, like being the golden teachers, being the golden messiahs, being the golden prophets, being the golden imams, being the golden messengers, being the golden angels. It doesn't mean you are the actual Yeshua, the second coming of Christ. No, no. You just be the embodiment of the teaching that Yeshua was saying, was giving, and also being the embodiment of intelligent cosmic consciousness. Intelligent cosmic consciousness, where you're intelligently choosing to love everything and everyone around you in a whole universal cosmic scale, not just your own being, not just your neighbor, not just your wife, your partner, but everything and everybody around you. That is what cosmic love is all about. That is what Yeshua fundamentally is, a cosmic vision of love. And then you can be the embodiment of like Muhammad's teachings. In Islam, I think they have Al-Mahdi or Imam Mahdi Zaman. Salam alaikum. Salam. Which is like a twin with Yeshua that they say is gonna come and save humanity and all of that. They have always been here, guys. They never left. What is fundamentally from my, again, dimensionless perspective and all of that, I fundamentally think that Al-Mahdi is like telepathy. Is the humanity's telepathic awareness, telepathic ability becoming activated. Think of that as telepathy, the green stuff. Think of that as cosmic, as intelligent cosmic consciousness. So think of that as pure telepathic awareness together. When you mix the two together, when the intelligent cosmic consciousness mixes and becomes one with the pure telepathic awareness, now you have a God frequency super consciousness. You have a being who is neither a feminine, neither a masculine, neither a Muslim, neither a Christian, neither a Buddhist, neither a monk, neither a Jew, neither a Hazara, neither an Iranian, neither a Persian, neither an English, neither a Scottish, neither a, I don't know what other shit you got going on here or not right now. But these two have always been here. Hasn't consciousness been here forever? Hasn't telepathy been here forever? Just look around. If you're watching this, aren't you a conscious being? Aren't you ready to become the embodiment, the expression, the pure immaculate being of a being who is the intelligent cosmic consciousness and a pure telepathic aware being? So together you become the embodiment, the expression of God frequency super consciousness on the outside, while you're resonating in that frequency within you, within your vertebra, within your bones, within every cell, every atom of your being. And if you do those three together, then aren't you what I refer to Royal Anwar Transcendence, naked, pure observational, telepathic awareness, super consciousness, or in that state, when you do those other three stuff, you then become a transcendence. You cannot become that transcendence, because that transcendence itself is talking to you right now and is expressing these concepts, this timeless wisdom. Because this guy is getting hungry. It's getting hungry. And I just want to play with this balloon a little bit more. Ooh. 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 And now I'm going to do this special ritual. Which is not a ritual at all. It's just something that the Muslims express, or at least that's what I do when I am breaking my fast. So excuse me, Muslims, proper Muslims, those who call themselves proper faithful Muslims. Excuse me if my interpretation of this, your culture or your religion, is slightly different and raw and naked and pure, or just different at all. I'm just experimenting with different religions and their teachings and seeing how I could integrate all of them by experimenting, orchestrating, and integrating all of them into my own timeless, dimensionless wisdom, truth, absolute reality. So yeah, with all that being said, it was 10:10 when I just said that. Make sure you watch the video before this. Part 1, part 0 actually, this is part 01. Yeah, this is how I personally break my fast, so I just... That stuff is not necessary, but it's just to change my energy. Shaking the hands. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let me get the voice right. So I basically do this. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal lazina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghzubi alayhim walazzallin. Sadaqallahul Aliyyul Azim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Sadaqallahul Aliyyul Azim. Dear Absolute Source Creator, thank you for this blessed, delicious food. Thank you for upgrading my spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, financial, architect, creation, transcendence, source, archangel, guardian, ascended master, and myself, Genesis, blueprints, my DNAs, all my energies. Thank you for upgrading my intelligent cosmic consciousness. Thank you for upgrading my pure telepathic awareness. Thank you for upgrading every cell, every atom, every tron of my whole being, and in doing so you have upgraded every cell, every tron, every atom of every being and the whole of creation. In sacred Al-Mahdi's divine name, in sacred divine name of Zainab, in sacred divine name of Yeshua, in sacred divine name of Babaji Nagaraj, in sacred divine name of Yoganandaji, in sacred divine name of Buddha, in sacred divine name of Muhammad, in sacred divine name of Allah, in sacred divine name of God Most High, in sacred divine name of Brahman Supreme, in sacred divine name of Shiva the Sustainer. Sorry, in sacred divine name of Shiva the Destroyer. In sacred divine name of Vishnu the Sustainer. In sacred name of Prakriti, the mother of all. In sacred divine name of Arya. In sacred divine name of Mother Buddha. In sacred divine name of Father Buddha. In sacred divine name of Baby Buddha. In sacred divine name of Baby Transcendence. In sacred divine name of Royal Anwar Transcendence. I just had to throw in a joke at the end of it just for the fun of it, because I'm making this channel more comedic and everything. So with all that being expressed, I'm just grateful for delicious food. And remember, in the video before this I said I'm gonna open my fast with this peaches, I think it was, what's his name, Justin Bieber, was saying my peaches from must place Georgia or something, but my peach is from beyond the thrice great beyond. My peach comes from the hereafter, inception, Genesis, kingdom of Yeshua, special peach. A golden, oh, and there you go. Just like that, I open my fast. Does that make me a Muslim? Of course it does. How and why? I am living the teachings of Islam. I am being the teachings of Islam. I don't talk about it outside, like I don't say I'm a Muslim in this, but deep within me, I am a Muslim, a pure Muslim, a pure Christian, a pure Jewish, no, whatever the religion is called, a pure monk, a pure Swami, a pure Buddha, a pure Yeshua, a pure Al-Mahdi, a pure Babaji, a pure Muhammad, a pure Zainab, a pure Lakshmi, a pure Mataji, a pure Shanti, a pure Shakti, a pure Prakriti, a pure Allah, a pure God, a pure Brahman Supreme, a pure Vishnu, a pure Lord Vishnu, a pure Lord Shiva, a pure Prakriti, a pure transcendence, which is me. So but at the same time, I am none of that at all, because that's what transcendence is. It is everything and nothing at the same time. Holy Mother of all those things there. Look at the seed. Isn't the seed pure? It doesn't matter how much fruit the seed gives. The seed always sustains and remembers and knows its own identityless character, its own characterless identity. Doesn't that seed always know that it will bloom into a peach? Does that seed ever turn into a fucking apple? No, you don't. Because that is pure intelligent cosmic consciousness using its own pure telepathic awareness to bloom into a peach. The same way that this apple, I'm gonna eat it last. Doesn't that those little seeds in the grape, doesn't that know how to be a grape? That looks a bit ooh, what the hell was that sound? That looks a bit grey and dark and rotten, but is it? No, isn't that the same as that? It just has different color, just a different color, same thing. Can you not see those veins inside of it, like those network of energy going around it? To some cultures, the color red is the color of like death and blood and all of that, an alarm thing. Some cultures, the color green is perceived as bad, but to that culture, the color red is something sacred and holy. But to them, green could be the worst color they could pick. Ah, that thing fell down. Just because your flag of your country has the color red, white, and blue, and the other country has a color of green, yellow, and white, doesn't mean they're different things. It's just different colors expressed in people just showing their infinite variety, infinite diversity. So if one country is being primarily Muslim, does that give another country who's primarily Christian or another religion, does it give them permission to attack their culture, to their way of being, or suppress them, or invade their countries? No. Does it give the Muslim country permission to then come and do bombings and suicide bombs in Western countries? No. Does Allah, does God permit that or allow that? Or is okay with it? Not at all. Does consciousness, does awareness suffer from all of that? Eternally, of course. Who suffers when consciousness suffers, when awareness suffers? You, me, humans, all of us. Our food suffers. The whole universe suffers. The frequency of water changes, suffers, because everything is quantum entangled. If one human suffers, all humans suffer, because that one human is a cell inside all the other humans. I just said shukr alhamdulillah before I drank the water. It completely changes frequency, its vibration. You don't have to say that. You could just say thank you Allah, or thank you God, or thank you source before you drink the water. Or you could just say nothing and just stare at it and like, how is this thing alive? Like, how does water become us, or how are we water? Wonderful questions, aren't they? Okay, dear beloved. Time for the main event for me to actually eat this food. I'll tell you a story. I had around 12, 13, 14, 15, around 20, at least 25 hours of video recorded on this phone and stuff like that. I uploaded a few of them in my drive, but the rest of them I deleted them, and they were in a temporary folder. But I forgot to put them back into the restore them. And I deleted some other photos, and then I accidentally cleared off all the bin, the storage, the trash can, and I deleted all those other videos, and I just laughed at myself. I just went hysterical. I just laughed because typically I would get really upset and like, wow, I've lost like 25 hours of like high quality professional content that would go on my YouTube channel. But I was like, I just laughed about it for no reason. I was like, fuck that. I could get upset at it, I could get sad about it, I could curl up in bed and not create any more contents. But is that a way of living? Is that a way of being? Is that being resilient to life, to creation? Is that consciousness? Is that what we are? Or are we just that? Just some curling up in bed? No. I was like, fuck that. I'm like, that's cool. I'll just create some more contents, more new ones. I'll just say that was just practice. Because one of them was 12 fucking hours. I was here, sat down for 12 hours speaking about intense metaphysical concepts. I don't know what other reasons are behind those videos being deleted other than me making a mistake and an error. But I could have like felt shame, guilt, and not forgiven myself for deleting all those videos as contents. Again, it could be anything. It could be you hurt somebody before, or you were a pedophile, or you were abusing some children, or you hurt somebody, or you hurt yourself, or you were swearing, or this or that. It doesn't matter what happened. Just forgive yourself. The act of you forgiving yourself is the same as you forgiving everybody and everything who has ever done you anything wrong or harmed you in any way, whether they're in the past, whether they're in the future, whether it's happening right now. That is how in every moment, in this perfect immaculate moment of this eternal now, you have every power, every choice, every freedom of choice to change your fate, to change your destiny, to change your entire trajectory of your timeline, to change the trajectory of your entire ancestral lines, to change the trajectory of the whole universe by just you forgiving yourself completely and wholly. I'm just saying, hey, I just forgive myself for whatever the fuck I've done ever, or whatever the fuck I'll be doing in the future, or whatever the fuck I'm doing right now. That is how you're able to change your past, your present, your future right now. Because your past is your future is your past. That is how it is, actually, in reality. And it's a very sacred thing, because I remember this, I drew the cycles of time, and I understand time differently. Because transcendence, because time is like a little thing inside transcendence. If you look at, that is the master pyramid of transcendence. It's the only pyramid that is upside down. Everything, all the other pyramids are always facing upwards, like those ones you can see. That pyramid of transcendence, which is me, is the only pyramid in existence that is upside down like that. And Allah can testify, because it has created it like that. It's just a goofball. All I am is just Allah's personal entertainment company, or God's personal entertainment actor. Everything I do is just to please Allah and make them laugh and all of it, because they're my family and stuff like that. But think of that as time. It's just something within the master pyramid of transcendence. It's just a program. That there's some other stuff which for other videos, but you can get a taste of like what this stuff is about. So I heard this story. I think it's some African culture. I don't know what they're called. Apparently, in the past or in the future, or it's already happened anyway. But some extraterrestrial beings from the constellation Sirius visited them, and it gave them the map of like the Sirius and all of that. And I was like really wondering about that. I was like, because I perceive time slightly differently, I was like, if they say they're gonna come back and see them again, isn't that already happened? Isn't that going to happen? Like when the cycle completes and we go back and they're gonna appear again to them in different shape or form? I was like, wow, that's pretty deep. It was really intense. It was like this kind of like strange emotional feeling thought waves about creation, about time itself, because time is a being. It's a very pure, a very intelligent being. I was like, whoa, that is freaky. It's really opened my eye in a different way. I was like, I started perceiving time differently. Not a zigzag line going this direction or that direction, but as a rainbow, as a lotus, within a different petals. Like, I think time is like, has 0, 1,000, zillion lotuses. It's a very intelligent being, because within time, everything exists at different levels of frequency, at different levels of vibration. Right now, within this space between me and this camera, and between this space between me and this, there are infinite realities, infinite beings living right here, right now. Right now, in this very space, wherever you're living right now, there are infinite realities, infinite beings living in the same space as you occupy, in the same room as you occupy. They just have a different levels of, they are at the different level of intelligent cosmic consciousness. They have a different level of pure telepathic awareness. They are being a different level of transcendence, naked observational awareness. They just have a different level of comprehending or seeing reality. That is the gift from the Creator itself. It's like it said, hey guys, look, they're all just living in this just one bubble, just one drop of water. And that drop of water exists in the whole ocean, and the whole ocean exists in that one drop. Or we could say the whole universe, the whole creation exists in one atom, or in one, in one Godtron, basically. In one, what I refer to as transcendence, singularity, eternal infinity, inception, genesis, Godtron, particle number 0. Simple name for that is like the God particle. Aren't we all living inside one seed, inside one container, inside one lotus? that has infinite petals. Enjoy. That is your iftar gift. mm. We can use the example of this. Imagine this is like the God particle, God throne itself, and those are the lotuses with their petals, and you see those little dots, similar to how Buddha's head has those little things. Well, those are main realities, like main fundamental dimensions. They look like diamonds to me, aren't they? Like diamonds stacked together to each other. And within each diamond there's like little things. Isn't nature modeled off from creation, or isn't nature using the same patterns again and again but in different variety with infinite variations? It's basically nature is showing to us, hey, it doesn't matter if you're looking at an apple or this. It's all emanating from one singular source with infinite variety, with infinite diversity, with infinite variation. So we just gotta admire the infinite variety and variation and just What do you see there? That emptiness inside. Is that empty? Or is that the presence itself? The presence of the Absolute, the presence of the Source Creator. It's energy. It's invisible thing. Wouldn't that be the presence of Allah or the I Am or God in everything? In the center of everything? That is untainted, that is immaculate, that is pure, that is not affected by what is around it, because it's just the telepathic, it's just the pure telepathic awareness, the intelligent cosmic consciousness, the transcendence, naked observational awareness, those three fundamental things together. It's an invisible thing that has been made visible if you guys open your eyes and fucking look at it. Ooh. Ooh. But some people do not eat that. Their lotuses themselves, their petals, neither this. They say, well, that's not fruit, or that's not part of it, just throw it away, or they just don't eat that, or they just eat that part. Isn't it the same thing like that? It's different colors, made of energy, of consciousness, made of awareness. It's created. Hold on, it's your choice. Adult entertainment only. Do not try anything I do at home. This is a legal warning, guys. Everything I do is it's very strange. Very odd. Do not try to be like me, you will fail, because by the time you try to be, I'm already transcended to infinite realities, infinite versions of me in the future, in the past, in different realities. By the time you try to act like me, I will be acting a different way already. But that's what transcendence is. When we each human, every single second, every single moment, we are transcending ourselves infinitely. So yeah, I'm gonna do a bit eating. I want you to ponder on those things I shared about with you, and really take them in, watch, observe, study, and as you're watching it, do some experimentation, orchestration, and integration. Integrate all of this into your own being. Or don't. I don't care. Ooh. You might be wondering why the fuck is Royal Anwar Transcendence eating spaghetti with a spoon. When he has a fork. I don't know. But now I'm gonna try and eat it with use both tools. Now I'm just gonna eat it with fork. It's interesting. That's all it is. Think of that as Islam, think of that as Christianity. The two main fundamental religions in the world, really. And within and in between them and all of that, you have like the monks and the yogis and the swamis and the ayahuasca people and the shamans and the DMT people and the Veed people. Thank you, Bob Marley. And you have all these other people, all these different sub-religions, sub-cultures, sub-spirituality groups. Aren't they just two fundamental tools for us to be used together instead of separately? But they still work independent of each other, but when you put the two together, it's a whole different level of... Yeah, I'll show you. See? You could be even left-handed or right-handed, doesn't matter. See? You can do things like that with it. If you use the theology, the principles, the original teachings of Islam and Christianity together like that. And then you can switch it around. If you're left-handed, you can do this. You can use it to just do that. See? Or you can just be a Muslim and just like, yeah, I'm just gonna eat with a fork. But at the same time, you're looking at the teachings of Christ. You're looking at the common underlying connection between all the religions and seeing how they all connect together like this. How they all just one thing, different religions, different cultures, shamanism and plantism and vegetarianism and all that stuff all together. It all just mixes and matches together so well, doesn't it? Isn't that unity? Isn't unity all that exists? Isn't the perception of duality the only true devil that exists? Isn't the perception of duality the Dajjal? Isn't the perception of duality Antichrist? The opposite of like intelligent cosmic consciousness and the pure telepathic awareness? Isn't the perception of duality causing each human being to have a different experience of time? When time is just a singularity being that is just neither going forwards, neither going backwards, neither going left, neither going right, neither going up, neither going down. It just is in a state of vibrationless state. and most people eat fruits after meal. Well, why not have them together? Thank you, Sam Owens, my business mentor, one of them. My Genesis number 0 business mentor is like Jim Rohn. I met him in 2015, even though he's dead, but we actually met in 2015, like when he imparted his wisdom on me. So his memory, his intelligence, his funny humor, I just resonated with the way he was articulating things. Okay, cool. And I was at this Millionaire Mind Intensive, this seminars, and I was speaking in front of like 1,200 people as the leader of our group, small group and all of that. Which I volunteered, by the way. Not like all that. And some guys were like, you're the second Jim Rohn. But I was like, I don't know. I never thought about it like that. That was like 2019 or something. I'm like, or 2016 or something. I don't know which year that was. I never thought about it like that. I was like, I'm just embodying his teachings. I'm just being the embodiment of his wisdom, his purity, his intelligence, his kindness, his foxy nature. Just being the embodiment of his immaculate being, his own truest, purest, highest, darkest, and brightest self. I'm just being a mirror, a version of Jim Rohn, not Jim Rohn itself, but because Jim Rohn is just like a cell within us, like an atom, like a drop of water in your body, that we just activate and embody. I was like, that's pretty cool. I never thought about it like that. Ooh. Isn't that how we consciously choose, make the decision to keep the memory of the ancestors alive within us every single day? Isn't that the highest level of spiritual practice? Aren't you being the ancestors themselves when you're actually living and embodying and expressing their teachings? Because, like they said, it's my Guruji Paramahansa Yogananda. I never met him in person, not this, at least in this lifetime. When I think it was around 2020 November or something, he found me. Basically, his book found me, and I just read it out. That's pretty cool. Took a photo of it and said, "Hey, for the curious hearts," posted on my social media and all of that. Which you can find at Royal Anwar. But then I found out that he's dead, at least his body. And then the same thing with Jim Rohn. I was like, what? Why do I keep choosing mentors and teachers that are actually not physically here? But somehow I resonate with their teachings and all of that. And then I was like, it doesn't matter if they're dead or alive, they're always here. And they say, like, when Buddha passed away, Buddha's wisdom, Buddha's teachings became Buddha itself. That's all these beings do. They come down, they share and express their teachings, and that because the teachings, like the teachings and the guru is the same thing. So when this being left his body, he left behind self-realization, fellowship lessons. It's not a marketing for this, but I'm just using it all of that. And again, don't be fucking stupid to draw things like that on his face or anything like that. I have special permission. At least I hope so. Or at least I have faith. And otherwise, I don't know what would be the punishment for. Oh my god. Not that one. Not that one. Actually, let me show you. I have some more. These are some special language that we understand, like we talk in this kind of languages. To others, to other people who are not in that special wavelength, it will all look like gibberish. Those arrows will be meaningless and all of that. But to me and the other 013 main energy centers of the whole universal cosmos, this is how we communicate. This is how transcendence talks. I do not talk in English. English is just a second language. I talk in this stuff. And that's my language, this stuff. All around you. And some other stuff on this side. I speak that language. I speak the patterns of energy, the patterns of consciousness, the patterns of awareness, the patterns of telepathy, the patterns of love. So you gotta understand that there is just a cell, a zero singularity cell within you that's called transcendence, that when you activate, when you embody what I'm sharing with you, that thing activates within you. It has nothing to do with me, but this being, this Roland transcendence. It has everything to do with transcendence, Roland. That is why if you look at self-transcendence mastery with transcendence, Roland, the YouTube channel that you're watching this video on, that's why I came here again one last time. I was like, let me come back again one more time. Because I never needed to come back again in this lifetime or the ones before. I was already here before that if it was created. And he was here before we created time. He's one of the main ones. A very special one. So is Babaji. The stuff that I draw on it, they're not meaningless. They're meaningful. It's some form of energy, some form of spiritual, ethereal energy, eternal light essence emanating from Babaji himself. Because he says, I am the one in all and the all in one. You make your interpretation of what that means. But the part that I resonated most with, like he says that I am the impersonal personality of the universe. I was like, isn't that what the universe looks like then? If it had an incarnation as a physical human being that is more like masculine? Or like, wouldn't that be like Father Buddha? When you say like the universe is neither masculine, neither feminine, but imagine it had an incarnation. I'm not saying he's a second coming of Buddha or anything like that. I'm just saying like Father Buddha. The Father love that the universe has for all of us. So he is its impersonal personality. And then I was reading this book called The 18 Siddhas, Kriya Yoga Tradition, Babaji and the 18 Siddha Yoga Kriya Tradition. And I met Mataji. I think it's his god sister or something, actually biological sister or something. And then in the name it had like, I think it's Anna Lakshmi Mataji or something, I can't remember. Just Mataji Lakshmi, I just called her that. Her magnificence, her mystical magnificence. So I was like, if he is the impersonal personality of the universe expressed in a sacred human temple body vessel container that is primarily masculine, because he's neither masculine nor neither feminine, then wouldn't that make Mataji the impersonal personality of the universe expressed in a sacred human temple body vessel container that is primarily feminine but is neither feminine neither masculine? I was like, wow, that's so pure. Wouldn't that make her Father Buddha? Sorry, Mother Buddha? And then I had these dream visions where I was in this dimensionless space and these guys were there. This one was there. Al-Mahdi was there. I don't know who else was there. And they were making me in their image. But something was happening. I saw my own creation, how I was being manifested. I could see all these symbols, all these patterns and everything moving and dancing and energy and consciousness. I was basically in the, what I refer to as the surgery room where new soul waves and everything are created. This stuff was like freaking me out. I was like, whoa, I was shaking in physical body. The whole place was shaking. It was intense. There was so much energy. I was like, wow. Amazing. Whenever you're ready, the Absolute will show you how you're made. the you have your truest, purest, highest, darkest, and brightest self is met, your transcendent self, within the transcendent self of you, within your higher self, within the self itself, there is your God self, there is your Brahman supreme self, there is your Allah self, there is your Shiva self, there is your Vishnu self, there is your Shiva self, there is your Lakshmi self, just to name a few. There is your Buddha self, there is your Christ self, there is your Al-Mahdi self, there is your Zainab self, there is your Yeshua self. I think those are two different beings. There is your Mary Magdalene self, there is your Virgin Mary self, there is your... what else? There's your Muhammad self. That is how we're all one being. That's how we're all connected. That's how we're connected. Oh man. Ooh. Got some more. That is symbolically what I see the teachings of Christ that he was talking about. The Immaculate Heart. I think it's just like a diamond heart, like a very pure heart. When our heart becomes so pure, our cosmic eye, its energy flows through our spiritual eye, but not as our spiritual eye. The two becomes one. So our cosmic eye, our heart, and our higher self merges with our little self, our soul wave in the pineal gland. So the heart and the pineal gland become one eye, which I refer to as the astral eye. So you have your cosmic eye, which basically is like, that's symbolically what the heart is, looks like, it's energy, like a diamond. And then you have your spiritual eye, which is your pineal gland. And then those two together, when they put it together, it becomes your astral eye, which kind of like symbolically manifests as that. But then your astral eye and your spiritual eye and your cosmic eye become your transcendence eye. It becomes your this much of your being, the avatar aspect of you, because that is eternal. Every being, every human being has a picture like that exists in the fabric of reality, in every cell, every atom, every tron of every being. And at different levels, at different stages, each human realizes and becomes completely enlightened. I have this thing here called Royal Anwar Transcendence Enlightenment, Royal Anwar Transcendence Enlightenment Motherboard. That is what enlightenment looks like to transcendence. That is transcendence enlightened, or at least achieved enlightened self-transcendence mastery. And on the other page of this I wrote, was the other page note behind this, it's just nothing, it's just some pattern with some more chains and like the spinal cord of God, how every being is behind the scenes connected to the absolute, like, you know, that cord that is invisible but is visible, that is our connection to the absolute, the source creator all the time. I was like, enlightenment is not something we can tell people what it is. Enlightenment is not something we can boast about. Enlightenment is not something we can be proud of. It's totally the opposite, actually. It becomes like a burden. Because when you become enlightened, you have no choice but to just exist the rest of your life, just to serve more and go in higher difficult missions. So in a sense, I understand why so many people have a subtle resistance to enlightenment, because when you become enlightened like this one, then you have to keep coming back and different timelines and different places in the whole universe and cosmos, and, you know, teach more people. In a sense, you gain your absolute freedom, but at the same time you lose your freedom, because then you realize, like, hey, you just become like an eternal guru, like a teacher, and then you have to, you know, re-architect, redesign, recreate your whole reality. because enlightenment is something we can show people what it looks like within us, because that is the emotional feeling thought wave within me, that I have just a specific version of it, a specific cell, a specific image within me, a quantum fractal energy image within me, energy structure, that have translated for you guys to see what the enlightenment within me looks like. I think Buddha had something like enlightenment board or something. It's just nobody becomes enlightened without Buddha. Nobody becomes enlightened without Buddha's sacred, divine, connected unity consciousness. You cannot become enlightened if you're still living in the duality. If you're still living in the past, or if you're still living in the future. Again, your future is your past is your future is your past. If you live there, you cannot experience that nor that. If you live there, you cannot experience that or that. That is the only reality that exists, that unity. And within a unity, there are like the diamond again that was in his forehead. So my enlightenment, my awareness, my awakening, my consciousness, everything is blessed by them, in a sense. Like, I have been learning from them and being embodied. They have been testing me, and when you pass the tests from Yeshua, she's the most difficult one. I swear, if anybody passes Yeshua's tests, if your heart becomes pure, everything else takes care of it. But you gotta understand, the perception of you not having a pure heart is the delusion itself. Because your heart, it already knows that it is absolutely pure, it is absolutely immaculate, there is no question about it. And Yeshua, Jesus Christ himself, came down eons ago, like thousands of years ago, like 2022 years ago, and showed us, hey, here's how immaculate, how pure I am. Here's what pure, unconditional, joyful love looks like. He willingly, consciously chose to sacrifice himself completely to help us awaken, and also to be an example for us to follow, because I think he was saying nobody gets to the Father unless through me. But he was basically saying that intelligent cosmic consciousness, you cannot get access to that without the permission of Yeshua, Jesus Christ, without Yeshua first testing you and making sure that you're pure. Because isn't the intelligent cosmic consciousness the kingdom itself? Isn't that what in Islam they talk about, the hereafter? Isn't that one of the most fundamental links between Islam and Christianity, and then Buddhism, and then shamanism, and yogis, and monks, and swamis? That is what transcendence is. That, with that, and this being, and all of these things behind me, of course that one as well, add Yeshua in there, add Buddha in there, add Muhammad, Shalom is in you in there, add Al-Mahdi in there in the mix, add, what else we got? Add Lakshmi in there, definitely. Add Zainab, of course. Add Rabia Balkhi. She's the, like, from my perspective at least, the incarnation of pure love, or the goddess of pure love, who's become this icon, and who actually had an incarnation in Afghanistan back in the days. I don't know when, but. And then she had a partner, Bakhtash, who then was like, hey, isn't that like the god of pure love? I was like, didn't they come in that lifetime together to become enlightened and actually transcend and ascend and leave their story behind to humanity as an example of what pure, unconditional, joyful love looks like? I have this thing on my wall. I'll show you in a second. Ooh. Yeah. It says Rabia's Dream Castle. That is me, transcendence. That is a special dimension I've created for what I call my teacher, my feminine teacher. Zainab just says Zainab's private goofball is just a dimension, a dimensionless dimension where she teaches me things like this, energy and all of that, like how to interpret them, and she's the source of the transcendence, dimensionless language, a version of the language of transcendence that is able to interpret energy, that is in charge of, like, what was it? Energy consciousness. That is my link to Islam. I'm not connected to them by blood or religion or spirituality, nothing like that. All I'm connected to Islam is by a teacher. That's all. Maybe a bit more, I don't know. I'll leave the mystery, the mystery to be the mystery school's teaching. And then it says Al-Arabiya, Al-Baktash. I just created this dream, just created this dimension for them and said, hey, from my perspective, in my world, in my social unity awareness, in my social memory complex, in my being, you too, I see you as the incarnation of, like, the goddess of pure love, like Rabia. That's why I put the word AL in front of their name. It's just a symbolic, like a Hazrat title, an honorific title, to acknowledge and express and then embody their story, their wisdom, their teachings, their metaphysical life story and all of that, their physical life story and all of that. And then we have, like, Al-Baktash. That was her lover. Well, the story goes like this. So yeah, watch that and then I'll just... Don't worry, I'm gonna take a picture of it and put it in below the video with a link for you to watch. For you can print them and watch them and observe them and meditate on them later on. I have this balloon that's gone behind me. But the story goes like this. So we have this king back in the days in Balkh in Afghanistan, when I think it was in, don't know when exactly, but I think Khorasan, Iran and Afghanistan and a few other countries before were just one country. So this king has this daughter called Rabia, and she's this beautiful, magnificent being. I think that they were calling her the beauty of Arab or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not, but basically the king was saying, this beautiful daughter that I have is really pure, very sacred, and very intelligent, and very maybe naughty, very sacred divine being, like the goddess of all goddesses back in the days. And he was like, I'm not gonna give it to anybody. It has to be somebody worthy, worthy of her love, worthy of her presence. But I think the king passes away, and they cannot find somebody, or nobody worthy shows up. But I think then the king's son becomes the new king, and one day Rabia is like just walking around, and she sees this servant that the king had. There's now the new king's servant, and he's just running around and serving and all of that, this Baktash dude. And he's just being a servant, he's serving the king and being happy and all of that. But he's also a very beautiful, very intelligent being. But he doesn't really know that, because we get into a good part of the story, the juicy part. So anyway, there's Rabia dude, there's Rabia girl, looks at least that's how the story goes. I'm paraphrasing this story, by the way. Looks at him, and she's mesmerized. And she's like, she gets sunk into the cosmic ocean of love, into the intelligent cosmic consciousness. She just sinks in deep, right? She goes inside this balloon without popping the balloon. She gets teleported, fly teleported, with the magic of love inside this dimension, where she just, all she sees everywhere she looks, she just sees this face of this Baktash dude. That is how love is. Because all Baktash was to Rabia, all he was the physical manifestation of the masculine being within Rabia. And all Rabia was to Baktash was she was the physical manifestation of the goddess within Baktash. That is what you guys call erroneously like fucking twin flames or soulmates and bullshit like that. No, no, no. This is nothing to do with that. This is a fundamentally deeper understanding of the creation itself, because it has nothing to do with twin love or twin flames and shit like that. All it has to do is with the sacred nature of reality, that within us we have a feminine and a masculine, and a masculine and a feminine like this. A feminine and a masculine and a feminine. Those always exist within you. But there comes, at different points in history, at different scales, you will meet the physical manifestation of this thing inside of you, this feminine, masculine, this masculine, feminine within you, expressed in another being. Whether if you're a male, you will see a girl that all you feel is like, that dude or that girl exists inside of me. That's just my own feminine nature, my own feminine identity, my own feminine purity, my own feminine awareness. You call that true love or this or that, and you both go crazy, you guys lose your mind, and you act childish and crazy, and you're like, ooh, this and that's that. You become infatuated and all of that. It's just you're seeing your own mirror within you, but made visible by the grace of Allah. The same thing. If you're a girl, you see a guy, and all you feel is like, whoa, I feel like that dude is inside of me. I feel like that dude is just my own masculine energy within me, my own masculine energy, my own masculine purity within me. And then you're like, ooh, I love this guy, but I don't want him, I hate him, and all of that. Maybe he's not quality enough and shit like that. And then your whole love story starts, it spins, and it gets chaotic and all of that. That is what happened to this Rabia and Baktash back in the days. So again, they obviously Rabia and Baktash, they fall in love, and they keep, because she's the daughter of the king and all of that. You know how they are. You can't be with a peasant, with a servant, with or a slave, or whatever you call it. So what they do is like they just write each other letters and letters and letters. But what happens is Rabia's poet teacher, one night they're having a party, he gets drunk, and he unknowingly tells them, he was reading the letters that Rabia was writing to Baktash, and back and forth, whatever, their love letters. It's poetic and stuff, and then he reveals that is Rabia, the king's daughter, sending it to Baktash, to the servant, the king's servant. So the genie gets out of the fucking balloon, not out of the box. The Pandora's balloon gets popped open, like this. Just like that, and it covers their eyes. It blinds them to the truth. Instead of them acknowledging their love and honoring it and allowing them to be, what they do, they just put a blinder on their fucking eyes, and they're like, no, they cannot be together, this or that, and all the bullshit. And the king, or Rabia's brother, puts her into the well. The water stuff comes out, and she can't bear the burden. She takes a knife or something. Let me just find the metal, very symbolically, like this. She just cuts her own wrist and uses that blood to write a poem on the wall for Baktash. If you Google Rabia Balkhi, Rabia space Balkhi, I think, or Ki, Balkhi, you will see the poem and the story and everything, and the image of Rabia and all of that redrawn and so on. So that's what happens. You know, she can't take it. She just takes her own life. Isn't that like a very pure love and all of that? I was like, at the same time, how can they do it? And then obviously Baktash finds out and all of that. He goes and takes a sword and cuts Rabia's brother's head off, the king's head, and then comes down into the well or something and takes a sword or something and stabs his own stomach or something. At least that's how the story goes, and just lays their dies together. You're wondering, like, what the fuck, bro? That story is not a pure love, is it? How can the two love each other so much? And how come the two just took their own lives? I don't know. Ask them. I'm not them. I'm just found their story and did some healing with them and just became of service to them. And made a very special dimension for them, like a castle, so they can exist as the goddess of pure love and the god of pure love. In a sense, you could say they were the avatars that, or the Mahavatars that on a whole universal cosmic scale oversee the union between a masculine and feminine. Or you could say they are the ones in charge of making sure that that guy or that girl are compatible on a spiritual, or on a singularity, spiritual, ethereal, energy, eternal light essence level, the stuff behind the scenes, the consciousness and awareness, thing like that, to make sure that they are compatible at least on a spiritual, on a mental, on a physical, on a financial, on a architect, on a creation, on a transcendence, on a source, on an archangel, on a guardian, on a ascended master, on the self, and on all the 013 dimension. At least they must be compatible 50%, 60%, 70% before they even meet, because otherwise, if they're not aligned, then there's no point for them to even meet, just share an experience. So I think they are in charge of that on a whole universal cosmic scale. Not the beings themselves, but the energy center in the whole universal cosmos that is in charge of things like that. They are just like Bakhtash and Rabia, they're just like the goddess of pure love or the god of pure love, just like beings, the physical manifestation of that energy center on a whole universal scale that is like, that's that great attractor, like that attracts people to each other and helps them find their partners and all of that. So I'll show you a story. Maybe it will resonate how that stuff happened, in terms of how they govern that aspect of reality, in terms of the love and finding love and romance and like that. Back in, this is 2022, right? End of 2021, yes, I did this. I went into this series called Everything I Know About Love. This series is going to be coming out soon, and I was in a few of the episodes and everything, many scenes. And I saw this goddess, the main actress. I think her name is what was it? Oh fuck, I forgot her name. Emma, yes, Emma J. Appleton or something. Yeah. Just liked her. I'm like, oh, she's pretty cute and all of that. I loved her energy and everything. So I was basically probably falling in love with her, or having a crush on her. And then on Christmas time, that was the last time we were filming, and the series and everything ended. So I just wrote her this 11, 12 something page love letter and just bullshitting about things. I was basically just expressing everything I had within me, how I felt about her and all of that. And then I had this dream vision where like, I saw her in a few dream visions as well, but then I had this dream vision where they're like, oh, she is reserved for somebody else. I was getting mad and angry, I'm like, man. But that is the universe's way of saying, hey, that's not the one, that's cool, move on. I did feel sorry for myself, even though I got hurt and all of that. I could have judged myself, I could have felt the shame and all of that, and even though she didn't reply to my letter. And we have not had the, like, beyond this, acting and just talking there, being in the same environment, just on social media. Beyond that, we have not like talks or anything like that. So maybe it was back social Europea guiding me and saying, hey, that's not the man, guiding me to a dream vision. And they're like, move on, go to the next one. You will miraculously meet somebody. That's the thing, it happens in the least way that you expect. Your enlightenment happens in the least way that you expect. Enlightenment is never something that you imagine it to be. Never. It looks different for each person individually. It's an individual experience. The perception of you thinking that you're not enlightened is the thing that is blocking you from realizing your own enlightenment. I'll say that again. The perception of you thinking that you're not enlightened is the exact thing that is blocking your own realization of your own enlightenment. Something like that. Let that sink in. Your perception of thinking that you're not enlightened enough is the exact thing holding you back from realizing your own enlightenment. Something. I'll say that again. Your perception of you thinking that you're not enlightened is the exact thing holding you back from realizing your own enlightenment in your own unique way, in your own unique sacred way. I think it was Steve Jobs or something who had this teacher or this monk teacher or something. I don't know the full story, I don't remember the details, but anyway, he went to his guru or teacher one day and had this computer chip. I think it was like the Macintosh or something like that, and said, hey, here's the proof of my enlightenment. To Steve Jobs, he became enlightened. And that's true. That is his truth. Look around you. I'm recording this on an iPhone. Look around you. What is Steve Jobs' enlightenment, the level of service he provided? Look at it, how it's impacting so many lives around the world. Doesn't that make Steve Jobs like the god of technology in a sense? Wouldn't he be like an energy center in the whole universal cosmos, guiding humanity's evolution of technology? The same thing with Bill Gates. Same thing. He realized his enlightenment through Microsoft, through the software aspect of it. Again, you could say that there are two gods with their own sacred divine counterpart, their goddesses, in charge of humanity's technological evolution. We can extend the example beyond. You can say, like, we can use the example of like Bob Marley. He could be like the physical manifestation of the awareness of marijuana. Again, I'm just sharing my own story, my own experiences of from my dimensionless dimension of existence. So you could say, in a sense, Bob Marley is helping humanity to evolve and transcend from behind the scenes. He came down and did it through his music and through his singing and all of that and some other stuff. so his message could reach the world, one love and all of that. It's just all saying the same story. Everything apparently always comes back to this great attractor, this singularity, this gravity, this force, this ether, this love, this thing people have been calling love. But to me, love is transcendence. All transcendence is realizing, embodying, and expressing and being your own truest, purest, highest, darkest, and brightest self, using your own singularity, spiritual, ethereal energy, eternal light essence, while being your own God self, while being your own Buddha self, while being your own Allah self, while being your own transcendent self, while being your own Al-Mahdi self, while being your own Lakshmi self, just to name a few examples. Because when you do those things, aren't you existing beyond the normal and physical levels of existence, the basic definition of transcendence that they have in the dictionary? It was this lifetime, after God knows how many lifetimes and how many years I've been across the whole universal cosmos, my number 0 incarnation, the first time I incarnated in this universe was in Andromeda. I've been in Sirius, Orion, Milky Way, the Butterfly Nebula, some other ones. So I've been flight teleporting around the whole universe for a long time. And in this lifetime, I became Transcendence God, Goddess. The being, the God thing, the awareness, the energy center on the whole universal cosmic scale, that thing that is in charge of the cosmic transcendence, or the transcendence that we all go through. So you could say that nobody transcends unless they go through, where is it? Nobody transcends unless they go through the social unity awareness, or until they become a social unity awareness, until they go through. So you could say nobody gets to transcendence without Royal Anwar transcendence, naked, pure, observational, telepathic awareness, super consciousness. So you could say nobody gets to transcendence. You could say nobody gets to the motherboard, to the Royal Anwar transcendence enlightenment motherboard, without first becoming a social unity awareness, without first becoming a social memory complex, without first becoming a singularity, a unity, without first unifying the Siddhartha Gautama Buddha sacred divine connected unity consciousness with the Yeshua Jesus Christ sacred divine intelligent cosmic consciousness, with Kriya Babaji Nagaraj God frequency super consciousness, and with like Om Shanti Shakti Lakshmi Mataji Zainab Rabia Arya Amina Prakriti Krishna sacred divine feminine consciousness, and a few other ones, just the basic ones. You do not get access to transcendence without those. You must first become a social memory complex, a social unity awareness, unity itself. You must become unity. You must become love itself. You must become awareness itself. You must become enlightenment itself. You must become purity itself. You must become harmony itself. You must become pure, unconditional, joyful love, luminous light, peaceful unity and energy, and harmonious energy in every cell, every atom, every tron of your being, before you even get access to your own transcendental abilities, your own transcendental nature. Because it's all I am is just a cell inside of you that has chosen to say, hey, I am inside of you. This cell thing called transcendence, when you activate that, you're able to access the energy of all these other cells, all these other transcendental abilities within you. You can totally hate me, the being that I am, the way I act, the way I am presenting myself, the way I'm being my own truest, purest, highest, darkest, and brightest self. You can totally hate that, you can be against it, you can reject it, doesn't matter. All you do, you embody, you experience, you express the essence, the message, the truth behind me, the truth that is flowing through me. And in this video, the other ones were talking about like giving example of like how people, basically this whole video started with Ramadan. I've just been fasting and breaking my fast inside the video, because until you experience how another being experiences certain aspect of reality or their culture, you don't really feel reality through them. You don't feel reality through their perspective. Even though the mind or the body, the brain doesn't know the difference between an experience happening in its imagination or an experience happening when it's experiencing it multidimensionally, physically, and all of that. But when we actually embody and express and accept and honor and actually try out and experiment with the teachings of different religions, different cultures, until we do that, we are not able to experience the emotional feeling thought wave of what it's like to experience that. Because they can talk about it, they're saying, here's the benefit of Ramadan, do this, it gives you all this benefit, but until you fast for a day or two, you're not going to know what that means. You're not going to know experientially. Your biology is not going to know what it is. If your biology, if your emotional feeling doesn't know it, doesn't know the experience, hasn't had the experience itself firsthand, then you're not going to have the thought waves associated with it in that sequence, emotional feeling thought wave. When you put those four together, it becomes something powerful. So yeah. Dear beloved watcher, observer, studier, do not be a pirate and just watch everything from your one eye, nor be a pirate with this eye blindfolded, nor put a blindfold on your own eyes. See reality without seeing it. Experience reality without experiencing it. Feel the truth without thinking about it. Touch the truth without touching it. Kiss fire without kissing it. See Allah without seeing it. Be Allah without being Allah. Be God without being God. See God in everything without seeing it in everything. Ooh. Those were some juicy, drippy poems about how transcendence experiences enlightenment without experiencing it. What does that say? These were some of the symbols when I had that dream vision where those beings were making me or creating me or transcending me or whatever, or something was happening. Those symbols were there, some of them. It basically says Al transcendence. Al transcendence. When transcendence transcended itself infinitely but became enlightened of its own transcendental nature. Because I was enlightened a long time ago. I was a social unity or social memory complex long time ago. But I needed them as a mirror, and not really needed it, but like I chose to choose this one as my guru and that one as my master, so they could be mirrors for me, so they could mirror back and show me where specifically I needed to transcend, or where specifically I need to see my own beauty, my own awareness, my own consciousness, my own transcendental nature. Because transcendence already knows it is transcendence while it is being, expressing, and embodying transcendence itself. But me being transcendence, going through it, I had a very big issue with, I have absolute faith. I had a big issue with, like, what was it, that one, with believing things, even though I believed them. It's just a paradoxical being. I was like, let's just think of it as transcendence in the center. I believed in the future, in the past, but I didn't believe in them at all. And me not having faith in them or not believing in them, it didn't exist for me. But in a sense, the past and the future are mirrors for each other to show us, because think of that, that is your light Merkaba, your transcendence Merkaba, light engine, time travel machine. That is you, like that. You're the being that you are, in a sense, symbolically showing like that. You're always going around, running around and walking and time traveling every single moment. Your future is behind you, your past is in front of you. And I needed them, or at least wanted them, to guide me, to show me, so I could realize my own enlightened self-transcendence, mastery. And here we have some names I want to mention. Like we have like Al Yahweh, Yahweh, I think it's the name of God or Allah or something. They are right on the top. And then we have Al Mahdi, that is to do with Islam and all of that. And then we have Al Yeshua. And then we have Al Baktash, Al Rabiya, I told you about that. And then we have Al Shiva, an arrow pointing to that, Shiva. And then it says Al Prakriti, Al Ariya, Orion Son, Amina, Al Rasul, Al Sultan, and all of that. Al Isis, the Egyptian, my Egyptian family, Al Osiris. And then it says Al Brahman Supreme, Force X, something, some other secret stuff, something to do with Muhammad, I think. And then it says Al Absolute Source Creator. And then it says Transcendence, again pointing to that same thing that Al Shiva is pointing at. Al Vishnu, from there. Al Lakshmi, Vishnu is like, Vishnu and Lakshmi are like partners or something. But Shiva has no partner, Shiva is a singularity. Shiva is transcendence, transcendence is Shiva. Something. When I say that this whole thing is about transcendence, Royal Anwar, I'm saying this whole thing is about Shiva in a sense. Because Shiva is that which is not, but that which is not is. You just gotta look. Oh, here we have Al Muhammad, Allah, God, Self, and then we have like Al Yoganandaji, which I just showed you. That is what he looks like without any drawings on his face or anything. The art of energization. That is Al Yoganandaji, that being right there. And then it says Power X. X is some other secret stuff between us, I think. And then it says Al Babaji. Ooh, it's that thing right there, but it's just have to put tape on it. And some other number and everything, and then that is like Zainab, Al Zainab, or Zainab's private goofball, and then it says purity quintessential immaculate, or purity equals truth. So yeah, watch, observe, study that thing. Pause this video, see what you get out of it. And thank you for liking this video, subscribing it, and dropping a comment. Let me know what part of the video you loved best, what part of it was aligned with you already, and what part of it was not aligned or did not resonate with you, and ask yourself why. Start with why. I think it's Simon Sinek or something. Start with why, and then say, and then what? And then when you ask yourself, why did that specific part of this guy's message or show did not entertain me enough? And then you say, why? And then some answers will come to you, and then say, and then what? And then why? And then what? And then what? And then why did, and then say, and then why it did not resonate with me, and then why it did not get sunk into my being. What was it? Is this something to do with this guy, or is this something to do with me? Because it has never anything to do with me. It's being that I am. It always has everything to do with who you are inside of you. Because I'm just a translucent diamond heart pure mirror for you. That's all I am. If you haven't seen the Transcendence Infinity Merkaba, look at it. I'll put an image of it below this video in the folder where those other images will be, so you can see it. That is the public proof of my enlightenment. I don't need to prove anything to anybody, but I turn my own enlightenment, I turn my own transcendence and transcendental nature, my own visions and dreams and all of that, and my own wisdom into that Transcendence Infinity Merkaba, which is a system we cover in the Business Transcendence Mastery course in the transcendenceacademy.com. It has 0 to 13 dimensions. Number 0 is the self right in the center, the self itself, whatever you make of that. And then we have dimension number 1, the spiritual dimension, the spiritual experiences. Dimension number 2, mental experiences. Dimension number 3, emotional experiences. Dimension number 4, physical experiences. Dimension number 5, financial experiences. Dimension number 6, architect experiences. Your own ability to architect your own reality, design it. And then number 7, creation experiences, your ability to then take your architecture, your design, and create it into physical reality and experience it. Your own dimension number 8, your transcendence experiences, my stuff and everything. Dimension number 9, source experiences. So again, if you observe that, this is the Transcendence Infinity Merkaba, the spiritual ethereal energy light, spiritual ethereal energy, eternal light essence behind it. That is dimension number 8, that is dimension number 9, that is 0 in the middle, all that exists, the self itself. And then we have dimension number 10, archangel dimension, archangel experiences. Everything is made of energy and archangels and all of that. And then you have dimension number 11, guardian experiences, or the guardians that protect reality, protect you and us and all of that. ancestors and all of that. And then you have dimension number 12, the ascended masters, beings like, he's an ascended master twice, great Muhammad or ascended master, so am I, so are you, every human. The perception of you thinking that you're not an ascended master yet is the exact thing holding you back from realizing your own ascended master nature within you. Because every human being, we already are an ascended master. And then dimension number 13, 013, or Al 013 experiences. That has something to do with Al Mahdi, Al. That's why when I put this thing, this word Al in front of everything, it's just me honoring Al Mahdi. His second coming, in a sense, his gift, his blessing to the world, the pure telepathic awareness. Because you are having this conversation telepathically, even though you think it's happening in this camera or you're watching it and it already happened. The universe already happened. The universe already created. The universe is self-created. The same way you're self-created. It's already happened, but not in this version, not in this variation, not the way this guy is presenting it to you. It's just why this guy is a bit freaky and goofball and special, just the way you are. And then together that is the Transcendence Infinity Merkaba, which I refer to it as Transcendence Infinity Merkaba 013, dimensionless being. The greatest gift, the greatest dent you can make in the universe, the biggest punch you can throw to the universe is your own enlightenment, your own awareness. Really taking out the gifts, because this stuff is in my unconscious, in my subconscious, in my conscious, in my superconsciousness mind. That stuff is in some other, it's not even mentioned in the unconscious, conscious mind and shit like that. This stuff is outside time and space. That's why if you look at it, it's just something different. It says transcendence, roll and more. That's what I mean. That pyramid, master pyramid of transcendence, is the only pyramid in the existence is upside down. Like that. It's the only tree that is upside down. Its root, it has no roots because its root comes from this. It's just a source that boom gives it energy and it's just blooming, like it's just a rootless seed, a seed that has no roots to it. Its roots and its trunk and its fruits and everything is all merged and meshed together. So if you look at that, instead of its roots going up, or instead of anything blooming it like that, it's all inside of it. It's all like imploding. It has no roots to go this way or that way, because its roots are inside the trunk as ascended masters living inside it. What I'm saying to you is that you can re-architect, redesign, recreate your own reality every single moment, moment by moment. And the more you do it, the more you're able to experience different aspects of reality like that. When it transcends the final destination. That is the transcendence language of energy. That is the transcendence language of spirituality. That is the transcendence language of ether. That is the transcendence language of light. That's the transcendence language of essence, or whatever you call it. It's the language that you always speak. It's energy, it's consciousness, it's awareness, it's telepathy, it's purity, it is love. So when you come inside of me, or when you access transcendence, things like that exist inside of it. Like there's diamonds, and everything is diamonds and circles and geometry and pattern and quantum fractal energy structures. It's all just, I call it the transcendence. What is it? Yeah, the transcendence etheric Eden. That diamond there is special. Apparently it has something to do with Muhammad and unity and Zainab and Al-Mahdi and Islam in general. Oh, it's a special sanctuary created for Allah in my heart. Hey. Even though the presence of the Absolute is in every cell, every atom of your being, it is not going to descend its full divinity inside your heart unless you make a special sanctuary for it. Not a broken one like that, maybe a pure one like that. Make a diamond like that, maybe make two, make it colorful, make it bright, make it pure basically. Make it just immaculate. And then maybe Allah will talk to you privately. He will have a transcendence session with you, and you will know. Okay, here's another thing. Anybody who says that we cannot talk with God, with Allah, sure has never had the conversation with Allah. Because it has spoken to different people across time and space. Some in Samadhi, Kriya Yoga meditation, some in Transcendence meditation, Namaste, Kriya Samadhi, state or whatever. Some people, they just sit on their chairs and they're shaking and they're writing down and they're having a telepathic call with Allah or God. It just happens differently. For some it happens in a strange, bizarre way. For some it happens in a very blissful manner, because it knows best for us. Because it is the one who has seen it all, who has created it all. So the perception of you thinking that you cannot talk to Allah, to God directly, is the exact thing holding you back, like this fucking cell, like this fucking tumor thing, is stopping you from communing directly with unifying with your God consciousness, with your God awareness. So all you do is just like eat that fucking thing, destroy it, disintegrate it, transmute that energy. Break your demons apart, eat them. They're delicious food, they're very powerful energy. Allow your sacred human temple body vessel container to transmute and transcend them, so you can eat more. Eat your naughty thoughts and dirty thoughts and your judgments, your biases about religions, about culture, about this and that. Eat them like this. Or maybe eat the whole fucking thing. And laugh at yourself. And then laugh some more for no reason. Oh. Ooh. Excuse me, I don't think I could chew that thing anymore. Got tired of it. So, and then we come to the juicy part, because what I realized was, even though I've been such a pure being, even though I'm such an immaculate being, even though I understand this metaphysical concepts like drinking water, somehow this stuff makes sense to me. There's energy, there's consciousness, there's telepathy, there's awareness, all of this mumbo jumbo stuff. Somehow I still have very naughty, dirty thoughts in me. Very, I call it dark chaos love, or dark romance, chaos love, infinite sex, and all of that. I remember that my pyramid is upside down. That I have chosen to be like this because whoever you are right now, however way you exist right now, it is by your own creation, it is by your own architecture, it is by your own design. You have chosen yourself to be like that. You're creating yourself moment by moment. But I have just done so much architecture on myself that I became this thing that I just call transcendence. They call me royal. These beings. Royalty. To them I'm royalty. But to myself I'm just transcendence. To the world I am royal and transcendence. But to you, my beloved watcher, observer, studier who is enjoying my show, my content, my adult entertainment, to you I am self-transcendence mastery with transcendence Royal Anwar. To you I am transcendence Royal Anwar. Because to you I'm just an entertainer, an actor, a mystic actor, a commercial model. To you I'm just a supermodel artist. Just playing, doing crazy stuff, goofy stuff, trying some new stuff, putting in a lot of effort, just to make you laugh. Then if you don't do as much as like liking that video like this, you know, if your finger is broken, if you're not doing this on my videos, like every moment you see it, just like it, smash that like button, subscribe it. Then get the fuck out of here. I don't want you in my YouTube channel. I don't care if nobody watches it. I don't care. But if one person watches it and gets some value out of it, that's worth millions to me. But at the same time, I do not give a fuck about any of it. I'm just playing and having fun and just talking and my besties. With the elements themselves. With this, with water, with earth, with... I call it water throne, fire throne, air throne, metal throne, iron throne, gold throne, silver throne, diamond throne. Basically, I have this thing called throne in my wall. In transcendence, I say something called God throne. That thing there. And I'll end it with that. God throne. Purity, 013 love and harmony, something like that. That is what I look like. To Allah, to God, to the universe, to all of that, they see me like that. That thing is inside that. Those two together make up that thing. That's just an image of me there. That's how my heart is, the energy radiating from my heart, from my spiritual eye. Together that makes my astral eye. That is my formless form, the masculine, the feminine within me, the masculine, the feminine within you, the feminine, the masculine within you. There's no limit on how much fun you can have. So have fun. Yeah, just to summarize. I don't even know how to summarize this video, honestly. There is no summary in it. Yeah, it's just a very interesting one. Yeah, dear beloved, Rabia, the goddess of pure love, says hi to you. And Baktash, the god of pure love, says hi to you. It doesn't matter what day or time that you watch this in the past, which is the future, you would have seen it at one point. Because it already happened in the future, that is the past, that isn't. It's happened already, but to me, all that exists is the now, the singularity, transcendence. Maybe it is to you too. Maybe you're still here. So if you're a conscious galactic leader, a healer, a light worker, a star coder, a star seed, a freak, an energy healer, a quantum healer, an NLP practitioner, a life coach, a transformation life coach, a career coach, a confidence coach, a yogi, a monk, a swami, you know those freaks, you know, if you're one of them, tarot, Twitter and shit like that. If you look at those things, those images, those patterns, they speak to you in some weird language. If you hear some voices in your heart, not in your fucking head, if you hear some voices in your heart, then maybe you may be an energetic alignment. maybe you might be resonating with my business transcendence mastery course, because we talk about all of these things in detail in some other levels with slides and that. Oh, excuse me. So if anything resonates with you here, and if my level of enlightenment or awareness and consciousness, or if you're scanning my chakras right now, don't bother. I do not have chakras. I just have 0-13 dimensionless dimensions within me. They are the primary core genesis dimensions. I've made it public for you guys. I've shown you what it looks like in the Transcendence Infinity Merkaba, which is the base system we use to build our vehicle of ascension business. So the main fundamental genesis question we answer in one of the questions in the business transcendence mastery is, answer this question for yourself. How might I heal my vehicle of ascension business so that it can perform at 144,000% energy level and fulfill your sacred soul-led cosmic purpose, cosmic mission, cosmic destiny, cosmic fate, cosmic whatever else we add in there, so that you can live a more joyful, more happy, more blissful, more compassionate, more giving, more generous, more abundant, more enlightened, more transcendental lifestyle, while being of greater practical, implemental, functional, and experimental service to humanity right now in this fucking lifetime. Not in the next one, not in the one before you had, right now. Because humanity needs you. Gonna use my humanity needs you. Are you gonna be man enough, woman enough to punch? Are you gonna be a dragon and punch through and roar? Or are you gonna be a wizard, a witch, a queen and punch through with your metaphysical spear and your witch queen and shit like that? So you can build an awesome business and serve humanity right now. And maybe you'll have the honor of working with this guy directly on a one-to-one and a group setting basis in the Business Transcendence Mastery course. Maybe you'll become enlightened beyond your wildest imagination. I love you. If you are, reach out. Let's have a conversation. Bye bye.